The housekeeper took off her uniform to seduce my son.
Don't be afraid, honey. Touch it.
I was shocked. She used to change his diapers not so long ago, and now she was trying to get in his pants. Cover up, Louise. I showed her the door, but suddenly, my son told me something that made me sick.
I love Louise. If she leaves, then so will I.
Things were worse than I thought. He wasn't just having fun with her. He was head over heels in love with her. I decided to be wise about it. Oh, so cute! That changes everything. Come here. I kept them within my line of sight in order to put an end to their relationship. A few days later, I threw a party and allowed Louise to attend it. My girlfriends were there, along with their single and gorgeous daughters, who were so much more attractive than middle-aged, uneducated Louise. Only a blind man wouldn't see the difference. Say cheese! I was sure that my son would fall for one of those beauties. Charles then asked if he could deliver a speech. I was expecting a toast in my honor, but all of a sudden, he got down on one knee and proposed to Louise. I didn't expect that. Sorry, I'll be right back. Smiling, I left my own party. Life had been very unfair to me. After my husband's death, all the huge expenses fell on my shoulders, and I dreamed of finding a wealthy match for my son. Sadly, I failed. Hey, you up there in heaven! You're just chilling, huh? Do something! That moment, I witnessed real providence. Louise was running to the restroom while covering her mouth, and immediately, everything made sense to me. She was pregnant. That was the reason for my son's hasty decision. I took advantage of the fact that my son was alone and tried to plant some doubts in his young and naive mind. Honey, I'm sure there is another way out of this. But Charles wasn't listening to me. He kept looking at the clock and the street. When the taxi arrived, he left me there.
This conversation is useless. We're going to City Hall to get married.
He disappeared along with Louise, leaving all the young beauties behind. I couldn't let some maid ruin my son's life. Fortunately, I managed to get to the City Hall just in time. Here she is! Arrest her! I ratted out Louise to the Department of Immigration, as she'd been illegally working for me all those years. I knew the law would be harsh on me as well, but I did it for my son and his future. When Louise got arrested, my son started crying. I tried to calm him down by telling him that it was for his own good.
Mom, you have no idea how wrong you are.
Charles told me the truth. Louise had breast cancer and she couldn't afford the treatment.
I decided to marry her so she could get insurance. You took away all her hope, and perhaps her life, too.
I realized how horrible I looked in my son's eyes. In order not to lose my boy forever, I used the rest of our savings to pay for Louise's treatment. She underwent treatment at the best clinic in her hometown and managed to overcome the disease with the support of her family. When my son found out that Louise had recovered, he came back to tell me that he had forgiven me. After that, he went on to make every life decision by himself, while I stood aside, proudly watching him.
Even though I was 40 years old, I was still a virgin. However, everything was about to change. I met a man online, and his name was Nick. After a year of virtual communication, I fell head over heels in love with him. So we finally decided to meet in person. I had one night left to find out how passionate lovers behave. That morning was hard because I didn't get a wink of sleep. I had one nightmare after another.
Virgin, 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 virgin.
Just like in real life. All my exes thought I was crazy and left me after finding out about my virginity. So I immediately decided to pretend to be an experienced woman in front of Nick. In order to match that image, I was going to surprise him with something risky. I felt terribly embarrassed at the salon. After all, it was my first time going there. I wanted to turn around and run away, but I realized that if I didn't undress, I would ruin things with Nick that night for sure. The procedure was painful, but not as painful as living a lonely life. All my friends were married and had kids. I had been saving myself for the perfect man since I was young. But neither in my 20s or 30s did I manage to meet him. Now that I was 40, I couldn't allow myself to lose Nick as well. The image of a passionate woman had to match my revealing lingerie. But once I put it on, I almost had a panic attack. That wasn't me in the mirror. No, I can't pretend to be this woman. I'll fail. Deep in my heart, I was hoping Nick would reschedule the meeting again. It happened several times already because of his work. But he texted me that he was on his way. There was no turning back. Or was there? I could just not show up for dinner.
You've been in there for an hour. Are you going to take it or not?
My feelings for Nick won. I went to meet him. He looked even better in real life than in the pictures.
Wow, you're so charming. Please, have a seat.
I didn't know how long my fake confidence would last. So I decided to take a bold step. Let's skip the dinner and move on to dessert, shall we? At that point, I thought I was going to faint. But Nick didn't notice it. He just smiled back and silently grabbed his keys. The time had come. A hurricane was raging inside of me. On the one hand, I longed to be with my beloved, but on the other, I wanted to get dressed and run away as fast as possible. However, I stood my ground. I liked him too much. In just a few moments, my lips would touch his. But all of a sudden...
I'm sorry. I can't do this. I have to tell you something.
As it turned out, Nick was also a virgin. He had been keeping it a secret just like I did, because he was afraid of losing me. He canceled all our previous meetings because he was afraid I would laugh at him. I comforted my lover and confessed to him that I was also a virgin. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. We both exhaled and had a wonderful night together. We are now married and have a son. We only have one regret, that we didn't find each other sooner. Remember, don't wait for the perfect person to love. Love a person and make him or her perfect through the power of your love.